AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun. You don't really love America if you hate half the people in it. And also, if you hate a lot of the things that everybody always loved about it. There's an oft-repeated moment in political debates where the moderator says to the two candidates, say something nice about your opponent.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is being hailed as the Democratic Party's next big thing heading into 2028, but Bill Maher isn't sold. If this sounds familiar, it's because it is. Back in 2024, Maher raised red flags about the DNC's unwavering support for Kamala Harris. We all know how that played out. Now he's back, warning Democrats not to repeat the same mistakes. With his trademark bluntness, Maher is taking aim at what he sees as major flaws in the party's new rising star. He's not just criticizing, he's practically begging the left to get real before it's too late. If you're into bold, unfiltered political commentary, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because this conversation is just getting started. A few weeks ago, we shared this clip.
What do you think of the fact that the people who are getting the big crowds right now are AOC and Bernie Sanders? They're going around the country. Thank you, there's that same guy. I call him the always wrong guy. Okay, but I feel like, big crowds, again, the shiny object that the Democrats chase all. It's not about the big crowds that come out to you when you're talking in a festival or wherever they are. I think it's because I think Bernie showed up at Coachella. That must have been fun for the fans. It's who shows up on Election Day. And I just don't see that's the ticket. I mean, Cory Booker, I know you've worked with him. I like Cory a lot from my home state of New Jersey. Made a speech for 25 hours. Again, just whacking each other off. This is just not what's going to get the job done.
Just days after Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's name started circulating as a possible replacement for Kamala Harris, things have taken a surprising turn. Instead of stepping up with confidence and clarity, AOC has been chipping away at her own credibility, one head-scratching interview at a time. From muddled economic takes to policy comments that veer off course, she's stirring more skepticism than excitement. If this is the Democrats' plan for 2028, they might want to take a serious pause. Because the more she speaks, the more voters are starting to wonder, is this really the best they've got?
Everyone has two jobs. Unemployment is low because people are working 60, 70, 80 hours a week and can barely feed their kids.
Everybody's an idiot except for me.
Capitalism has not always existed in the world, and it will not always exist in the world. When this country
It is the system that, unlike all the others, has lifted more people out of poverty over the course of human history than any other system.
Well, so I think that those things that you talk about, that you discuss, are part of the course of human evolution. Yes, but I also think that what people are starting to see, at least in the occupation of Palestine, is just an increasing crisis of humanitarian condition.
This is exactly why voices like Bill Maher have been raising red flags about AOC behind the fiery speeches. Dramatic outrage and endless social media theatrics lies a troubling lack of depth. She often confuses loudness with leadership, mistaking intensity for insight. What's missing? Nuance, strategy, and a serious plan for governance. It's a performance built for likes and retweets, not for leading a nation. And the warning signs are piling up. If Democrats stake their 2028 hopes on AOC, they're not just flirting with another loss. They could be walking straight into a political disaster.
At an AOC Bernie Sanders rally in Idaho last month, someone threw a Palestinian flag over an American flag, and the crowd erupted in approval. What should have happened after that is one of the adults on stage should have told their young, loyal followers, this is not a symbol of freedom. This is a serious problem for Democrats. Less than 1 in 4 Democrats under 30 say they're proud to be an American. 54% say they're embarrassed by it. Embarrassed? Like America's your mom picking you up at school? You're embarrassed to be an American? Well, guess what? The feeling's mutual. Because you have no perspective. Is America perfect? No, of course not. No country is.
The Democratic Party is bleeding, support and fast. A growing number of its own base has become disillusioned with what they see as an obsession with performative woke politics. Biden didn't exactly ride off into the sunset. His presidency faded out in a cloud of confusion, fatigue, and unmet promises. Kamala Harris only deepened the frustration with her vague messaging and lack of direction, alienating more voters than she inspired. Now AOC is doubling down on the same ideological bubble that's already pushing middle America away. And if you're holding out hope for Gavin Newsom or Tim Walz, think again. Their records are stained with scandals, surface-level virtue signaling, and policies that fall flat with everyday voters. Even longtime Democrats are beginning to walk some toward centrism, others to independence, and many out of the political conversation entirely. The problem isn't just the party's figureheads. It's an ideology that feels increasingly out of touch with economic realities, public safety, and basic common sense.
Don't really love America if you hate half the people in it. And also, if you hate a lot of the things that everybody always loved about it. There's an oft-repeated moment in political debates where the moderator says to the two candidates, say something nice about your opponent.
We'll get to where Bill Maher is going with all this in a moment. But first, let's break down exactly what he's calling out. At the heart of his critique is what he sees as a deep, almost pathological disdain from AOC and the progressive wing of the Democratic Party for America itself, and everything it stands for. Maher doesn't pull punches. He takes aim at their performative outrage, obsession with identity politics, and the knee-jerk tendency to equate patriotism with bigotry. In this worldview, anything remotely tied to Trump is immediately condemned, no matter the merit. Tax cuts that help working families, branded as racist. Border security, labeled xenophobic. Energy independence, dismissed as climate denial. Practical, beneficial policies are treated as moral offenses simply because of who introduced them. And in classic Maher fashion, he calls it what it is: ideological self-destruction. The Democrats aren't just fighting Trump, they're fighting reality. And in the process, they're alienating the very Americans who still believe in the country's core values.
For all the talk about fighting for the soul of America, nobody seems to like it very much. Too many liberals give the impression that to them, America's just a big, ugh. The red, white, and ew. A country that started out bad and will always be bad, founded on an unrelenting history of sucking and unable to change. But we have changed a lot. Democrat Cori Bush tweeted, "This land is stolen land and black people still aren't free." And this was on the 4th of July. Really? Not that I give a shit about the 4th of July. I've never been a rah-rah guy. But I am a perspective guy. And that's what too much of the left has lost, perspective.
Sometimes I open Twitter, scroll for 5 seconds, and immediately log off. The sheer level of anti-American sentiment is staggering. It feels like a digital bonfire of resentment, fueled by young liberals who seem to despise the very country that gave them the freedom to air their grievances in the first place. They tear down American history, mock its values, and treat the flag like a mark of shamos if this nation is some irredeemable villain rather than the place that's given them unprecedented freedom, opportunity, and a quality of life billions around the world can only dream of.